This conference will now be recorded.
Sometime a question comes up, I guess, in stage 3 of how much should we transfer out? So what I want to happen today is for you to pull out the spreadsheet, and we're going to do it in stages. We're going to, first of all, calculate these first 3 things. And then we're going to work a problem where everything works perfectly out. We purchase 1,000 ink cartridges, 1,000 reams of paper. We transfer it all in, and we actually make 1,000 books. We transfer all those books out and we sell them. So what we're looking at, the focus here is, okay, if everything worked out perfectly in the scenario, so there's kind of no exception in everything, can we work it then? Okay? So what I want everybody to do is take 10 minutes at the most, and let's get the assumption straight, and let's get unit cost, selling price, and POR. Because without that, you have problems later. So can you, with this information, get the unit cost, selling price, and POR? So we're going to take about 10 minutes or whenever y'all have that finished, so you can give me those 3 numbers.
Good evening, Professor.
Good afternoon. We're right now working on this problem.
Okay. Is this in the book or is this something you come up with?
Something I came up with, but it's in Blackboard.
Okay. Okay.
But we're just starting from the beginning. We want to get everybody here. No, so you got a unit cost for me?
No, sir. I'm still working on it.
Okay.
Good evening, Professor.
Good evening, Dominique.
Professor, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So I haven't had no internet this weekend to turn my cash flow in. Could I email it to you real quick?
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Appreciate you.
Okay. So what we're working on is coming up with the unit cost, the selling price, and the POR in this examples. So we're trying to do a basic example and go through this example where there are no variations and just get through this example. But we're trying to get this unit cost and selling price and POR done. And Reynoso says he needs a few more minutes. Anybody else need any more time?
I actually need help trying to find the unit cost, to be honest, because I get confused.
Okay. Suppose we insert the column to the right. So a number of ways to do it. And why don't we start with ink? So we've got the components of unit cost of direct materials, direct labor, and the manufacturing overhead. Okay. So we're just gonna put it right here side by side to see if we can get this unit cost done. So what is the unit cost of the ink?
And
I would get 10.
one ink cartridge times $10.
So we got $10 there for the ink. So everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
I would know. So what about for the paper?
Would it be 20?
Why you should have been saying it's gonna be 20. So we've done the top two. The ink, all we do is multiply 1 times 10. For the paper, 1 times 20. As we make in this book, it's taking one ink cartridge that costs 10, and it's taking one ream of paper that costs 20. So those are the top two things. Now we gotta get our labor in. And it says we pay the workers $20 an hour, and they make 10 books an hour. We're paying the workers $20 an hour, and they can make 10 books in an hour. So if they can make 10 books in an hour, what's the cost for each book? That is, if you pay $20 for 10 books, how much would each book cost you? If you bought 10 books and they were all total price, same books for $20, how much did each book cost? We paid $20. We got 10 books. How much did each book cost us?
Is it two?
Two?
Yeah.
2, yeah, that's all it is. So do we see that now? All we had to do is divide 10 into 2. So these are the kind of easy ones, okay? The ink and the paper and the labor, okay? So you want to be able to do those. And now we need to get this manufacturing overhead. So there are, a number of ways to get the manufacturing overhead. What's the easiest way to get the manufacturing overhead? So Taiwo, if you were explaining them how to get the manufacturing overhead, and what we're trying to do now is to get the cost of one, we're always trying to get the cost of one item. So we're working on one item. So the item is taking us one ink cartridge that costs 10, one ream of paper that costs 20. The workers can make 10 books in an hour and they're paid $20 an hour, so we got 2. Now this overhead is $20,000. How do we get the overhead unit cost?
Divide.
Okay, divide. So we said we do what? Let's look at it 2 ways. I guess the hard way first. We said that what? We multiply what? The POR and what we're going to do with this POR. Whenever we can make more than one book an hour, we're going to do what? We're going to divide.
Right.
So we got the POR. And so because we can make more than one book an hour, we're going to divide by 10. Okay? So whatever POR we get, we're going to divide by 10. So what's the formula for the POR? The top line is what?
Total overhead rate.
Total overhead, just total overhead,
Okay.
20,000. Okay? So that's on the top line. And let's see. Third. What's going to be on the next line?
The hours.
Okay, we got the, let's get up here. We got total overhead on the first line. Total overhead. And wouldn't we put on that, don't we put on the second line the quantity that we're gonna make? So what's on the second line is the quantity. And how many are we making? 1,000, right?
Right.
That's on the third line is what? The production rate. Now that production rate is 10 per hour, so it's 10. Okay, I guess I meant neither. So production rate is 10. So if we got to make 1,000 and we can make 10 in an hour, how many hours is it going to take? How many hours is it going to take? Suppose you had to make 1,000 things and you could make 10 per hour. How many hours is it going to take you to get that 1,000 made if you can make 10 an hour?
Is it 100? Do we divide?
Right. We're going to divide 10 into that. So the total hours is going to be 100. Okay. So line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. And so to get our POR on line 5, what are we going to do? It's always going to be, what is it, line 1 divided by line 4. It's always going to be line 1 divided by line 4. So what is our POR going to be?
200?
Okay, so it's going to be $200. Okay, so then to come up with our, the unit cost of the manufacturing overhead, we said it's the POR divided by 10. Okay, so we're going to take, so this is going to be equal to what? $200 divided by 10. And so that's going to give us a unit manufacturing overhead cost of what? What's our unit manufacturing overhead cost going to be?
Oh, wait, 20.
That's going to be 20. So we add all those together, what's our total unit cost? What is our total unit cost?
52.
I think that's 52.
Yeah.
Now, as long as we've got one product, okay? Because you got to calculate the POR, which we said is 200 because you're going to need it in a journal entry. And what's our selling price going to be now? If it's selling price multiple is 3, so what's selling price going to be? What is our selling price going to be? Is it going to be $10? $20? What's our multiple? 3. So what's 3 times 52?
156.
So we got these 3 items done. So we'll come back to them a little bit later. So what we did, we added 10, 22, and 20. Can everybody get this 10? Is there anybody who can't get this 10? What about this 20 right here? Can everybody get that? What about the 2? Can everybody get the 2? And can everybody get this next 20?
How did you get that 20, sir? The
Which
second
one?
20? That one, the estimated manufacturing overhead.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a shortcut way to get it. I'm gonna give you a shortcut way to get it. We can always take the MOH which is in this case is 20,000. We can divide it by the quantity, which we said was 1,000. And so you can always check your MOH by dividing the total overhead by the total quantity. So 20,000 divided by 1,000 gets us 20. So that's a way for you to check, in this case, whether you got the right for that second 20. So that's a shortcut procedure.
Okay, thank you. It's because I get lost, you know.
So what?
It's because I get confused when it comes to finding the unit cost of each of row.
Can you get the ink?
Yeah, I got everything else. It was just the MOH that I got kind of lost on that part.
Okay. So there's a simple way, and the way we got to use it, we eventually got to get a POR. But a simple way to check yourself all the time, you take the total MOH and you divide it by the quantity, and that'll give you 20. But because we're in college, see, we have to do a little bit more different. So we take the total overhead, 20,000. We take the total quantity, 1,000. Then we get our production rate, which is 10. And so we said it's going to take us 100 hours. So we divide the 100 into the 20,000, and that gives us a POR of 200. Then it's so it's kind of a formal type thing. Then it's 200 divided by 10 to get to 20. But this little action here will accomplish the same thing. Okay, so because you're not going to be able to go anywhere until you can get this down, we're going to try another one. Let's make selling price 5,000 this time. I meant the quantity 5,000. Cut all these out. It's going to take 2 ink cartridges this time. And we're going to assume it take you 2 hours to make one. So it's taking you 2 hours to make one book in this case. So we're just switching it around. So it's taking 2 hours. And we'll make the total overhead 50,000. So we just changed that up so you can do the calculation again. So when you do that calculation, I want you to, use the POR approach, of course, but then you just check it later. So you want to do it both ways. But at least now you know, well, I got a shortcut and whether I did it right. So let's go through and see if we can get these same 3 things again, but it's taking 2 ink cartridges, 1 ream of paper. It's taking 2 hours to make it, and the overhead is 50,000. How long is it going to take us to get that done? I'm going to give you about 7 minutes. That work, Star Chill? Do we have this one knocked out? What's our ink cost?
$20.
Ink cost is 20. How much is the paper?
20 as well.
What's the direct labor gonna be?
Is it 10?
1.
If you work 2 hours for $20 an hour, how much money would you want? If you work 2 hours at $20 an hour, how much money would you want?
10, is it 10?
Wait, is it 40? Wait, do you multiply them?
Yes. They pay you. They pay you.
I'm gonna hire somebody to grade for me.
They pay you $2 per hour at wherever you're working. So in
They,
one
they,
much.
they're getting $20 an hour and they're working 2 hours. So if you work for $20 an hour and you work 2 hours, how much money would you want? Somebody said it.
40.
40.
40.
There you go, 10.
So you multiply when it takes more than 1 hour. But if you can make more than 1 hour, you divide. Okay? Now, how much is the manufacturing overhead going to be? The unit manufacturing overhead going to be? Reynoso? Well, let's do the hard way first. The total overhead was what? 50,000. On the second line comes the quantity. That's 5,000. our production rate is 2. It takes 2 hours to make it. So we got to make 5,000 things, and it takes 2 hours to make each one. And our total hours are going to be 10,000. And so our POR in this case are going to be 50,000 divided by 10,000, or what? 5. And as we're getting the overhead in this case, we're multiplying, because it takes more than an hour. Instead of dividing, it's going to be times. So it's going to be the POR times the production rate. It's going to be the POR times the production rate, which is simply going to be 5 times 2, and that's 10. Or you could have cheated and just divided 5,000 into 50,000 and got 10. Okay? You could have divided
Yeah,
5.
that's easier.
That's easier.
Yeah.
But you still got to get a POR eventually, but at least you can check it and say, okay, I'm pretty sure on it. So our unit cost now is going to be what? $90?
Yeah.
With our selling price multiple 3, I guess I need to be out here 90. It's going to be what, 180, correct? That's how we start the problem. So you got the 2 examples. Just practice these. Practice it when it takes more than an hour to make it. Practice when you can make 10 per hour. Okay, so let's go back to our original example where 1 ink cartridge, 1 ream of paper, paying them $20 an hour. They can make 10 in an hour. Overhead 20,000. So now we got to make journal entries and post them to the ledger. Now these journal entries don't change. So when you're doing the exam, you just put the sheet in. You just put the sheet in. So you got the template. So this is there. So if we're buying 1,000 ink cartridges and we're gonna buy them at $10 each, what's this journal entry gonna be? So we got the ink first, doesn't really matter. I don't want to mess up my template, so I'll put ink here. Then there's the paper. So if you bought 1,000 ink cartridges for $10 each, how much would you be buying? You buying it on credit. How much would those ink cartridges cost you? $1,000 ink cartridges at $10 each. How much are those ink cartridges going to cost?
$10,000.
How'd you get 10,000? Multiply 10 times 1,000, right?
Yes, sir.
So for the ink cartridges, $10,000. Okay. What about for the paper?
Multiply 1,000 times 10. No, 20.
It equals 20. So how much is that going to be?
20,000.
10,000. So all we've done in this journal entry is buy the ink and the paper. And we'll go ahead and post it. Uh, let's see. I guess I'll put it over here. So let's see. So this is the ink. We'll make this the paper. So we're simply going to post the amounts in the journal entries, 10,000 and 20,000. So we got 10,000 in ink. And we got 10,000 in paper. Excuse me, 20,000 in paper. Any questions? So that's stage one where we buy the raw materials, okay? When we buy the raw materials. Then when we get to the next journal entry, it says we transfer all the ink cartridges to work in process. So we simply debit for 10,000 and credit the raw materials. So you buy it and then you move it on the production floor. We're going to debit work in process for 20,000 and credit the raw materials inventory for 20,000. So we're transferring all of it in. It says the workers work 100 hours. Okay. And how much are we paying the workers? $20 per hour, correct?
Right.
So what's the amount in this journal entry going to be? What's 100 times 20?
20,000?
I'm going to take your word for it. I don't know. 100 times 20, though. It might be 2,000, right?
Right, I'm sorry, yeah.
Wait a minute.
So on that step, we just, I'm trying to see. It's small. Okay. I'm trying to make sure I get that one right. And that's for the work in process in cash. So we would just multiply the labor hours times the amount that they're
The
getting paid.
labor rate, that labor rate, right.
Okay. All right.
And then in our next entry, you're going to apply the MOH at the calculated POR. All that means is that you're going to take this 100 labor hours and multiply it by your POR. So this is where, so in this example, this is when we use the POR. So this is the POR times the labor hours. So same labor hours above it. That's a POR times the labor hours. So how much is that going to be? So just going to take the 200 and multiply by 100. How much is that? What is
20,000.
That's 20,000. Okay, so our next step now, we're going to go ahead and post these. And you see, noticing we're debiting work in process each time. So the 10,000, the 20,000, the 2,000, and the 20,000. So this spreadsheet, you better find this one. It's automatically posting the journal entries for you. So you can write, you can put a formula in here. I didn't do it, somebody else did it. But it's brought those amounts over, but you do the same thing, 10, 22, and 20. Any questions? Now we would, the 20, I've separated the raw materials here. I would just clear the contents here. So we've now transferred into $52,000 cost. Any question on what we did? We simply took all the debits in stage 2, and then that becomes the amount of cost and work in process. Now, in this example, in this basic example, since we're just trying to be basic, we finished all the books. We finished all the books. So what does that mean in terms of transferring the cost down? Basically, we're going to transfer all the costs down. So let me see. So we got 52,000 in there. We completed all the books. So we're going to debit finished goods inventory for 52,000 and credit work in process for 52,000. So in this case, in the ideal situation, if we completed everything, then all of those costs come out. So we're crediting work in process 52,000 down to a zero balance, and we now got 52,000 in finished goods. Any questions?
Wait, where'd you get that number from?
We added these up.
Oh, okay. The working.
So that was the total cost we transferred in. We finished everything. So in this example, we're transferring everything out. So you don't have to worry about percentages or anything. Any questions? So we transferred out all the costs. Okay. Then we sold everything. We sold all 1,000 books. What's going to be the selling price of these books? So now we're in stage 4, where we sold all the books. So all we do is we go to the quantity sold, 1,000 times the selling price you calculated, 156. So this is why you calculate the selling price, because when you make a sale, you got to have that there early. So what's 1,000 times 156? Is that 100?
156,000.
Okay, that's all it is. Now, what's our cost of these? So we go back into our T accounts. We finished how many? 1,000, right? So we started on 1,000. See if I can. Went the wrong. So in this problem, we start on 1,000 and we finish 1,000. I don't know if that will work. Let me see if I put it in here. So we started on 1,000, but we finished 1,000. So all the costs go out. But in finished goods, we have 1,000 in there, but we sell all of them. So what does that mean? The whole 52,000 is going to be in the journal entry for cost of goods sold. So we're going to debit cost of goods sold $52,000, and we're going to credit finished goods for $52,000. Okay, so notice that credit 52,000, and now we got 52,000 in cost of goods sold. We got those MOH account, and we actually put 20,000 in the MOH account when we made this journal entry. Remember the journal entry, stage 2, this journal entry here, where we credit the manufacturing overhead. So let's go through and put that 20,000 credit in. It says actual manufacturing overhead paid in cash was 20,000. So we're gonna go to our journal entry. So the actual manufacturing overhead was 20,000. We paid it in cash. So when we post this debited manufacturing overhead, because everything worked out exceptionally well, the account zeroes itself out. Okay. We estimated it was 20,000, the actual was 20,000. So in that case, you don't have the situation. You don't have an over under applied because it all came out exactly even. So I'm just showing it where everything is completed. Now when you do these two statements, cost of goods sold, now we said that the answer to cost of goods sold, was this number, and we said that the answer to the cost of goods manufactured was this number. But you still got to put those numbers in. So you don't just go, especially when we have ending inventory, and just say, a lot of people got the cost of goods sold, and they just put 20,000 down, and that's all they did. They didn't do anything else. Well, you got to put the other amounts in too. So let me see if I can make this larger. So hopefully you can see it better now. So we know that the answer is 20,000 for cost, 52,000 for cost of goods sold, and 52,000 for work in process. Let me go back here. Excuse me, the answer is 52,000 each. 52,000 cost of goods manufacturers, 52,000. So the answer to cost of goods sold is always what's in that T account. The answer to cost of goods manufactured is always what you transferred in this entry, what you transferred from here to here. Because we sold everything, they're the same, so I'm just giving you the simplest scenario. So when I get ready to do my cost of goods manufacturer statement, the first thing on here is the direct materials. We didn't have any beginning inventory. If we look back over here in the T accounts, we purchased 20 and we purchased 10. are 10 and 20, what's in this account. You just look in this account, 30,000. So when we get back to the statement, the purchases were 30,000. You didn't have any ending because you transferred it all out. And so the raw materials used is 30,000. So I was just using the simplest of scenarios. Then we're going to go back to the T account and get our 2,000 labor and our 20,000 overhead. So we just pull them straight out of that account. So 2,000 labor and 20,000. So our total manufacturing cost is 52,000. And we don't have any beginning or ending. And so it stays at that number. Okay. Now, once you get this number, once you get the 52,000, we don't have a beginning finished goods here, but if you had one, you'd put it in. Then you're going to bring the 52,000 down. Okay. So on that second line, on the second line is this number. So I'll put it in red. So that number comes down here in the cost of goods sold statement. So you made them and you sell. You didn't have any unfinished inventory this time. You sold it all. And you didn't have, so your unadjusted was 52,000. There was no over or underplan because it came out exactly right. So the answer is 52. But if you had over or underplan, you'd have to put it in here. So the answers is always the bottom numbers in these T accounts, 52,000 cost of goods sold, and whatever you transferred over to finished goods, that's the answer. We got it the simplest case if everything was made. And so these two numbers are the same. If you had inventory, you didn't sell them all, they wouldn't be the same. But I was just trying to show you an example, the simplest example, where you made everything that you're supposed to make. So can we work one where we can sell everything that we're supposed to make? Well, we're going to review and we'll work another one in class tomorrow, except you all will do a little bit more work. But is that a little clearer in terms of how the process works?
Yes, sir. A lot clearer. Thank you.
Yes, it's a lot clearer. Thank you.
Ms. Ashley?
I came in late. I didn't realize you were on today. I didn't get in until the back end, like around 5:45 that you're logging on. So I'm gonna have to replay or hear this tomorrow in class.
Okay, so
You didn't? Did you send out an email that you were getting on today?
I think it was in the announcements.
Oh, okay. I saw that it said you updated midterm grade, but I didn't see anything. I read my email, and I guess if you didn't put it in there, then that's why I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, we're going to review this again tomorrow. We'll probably do a different example since you all are familiar with it, but we have the people that didn't show, come on today, so we have to work with that. But review this and see if you understand what we did today, where there was no inventory. I mean, we made everything. Everything worked out perfectly. And can you do that with everything working out perfectly?
Yeah. Yes,
So
sir.
you can do it if everything works out perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with
So
a little bit more practice.
you're gonna be able to do it tomorrow in class and show everybody?
I don't know about that, but I'll try.
I'm gonna let you and Kyler teach the class tomorrow.
Don't put me into this.
That's great.
When you teach somebody else, you learn it better.
I don't know. I feel like
You can
I
do it.
just,
You can
I
do
don't
it.
know. It's
But you got to be able to run a business and sell some inventory, right?
yeah, you have to. It has to be done. So I'm trying to understand it without getting myself confused. But this helped a lot more. Like when you do the simpler problems, it helps a lot more because when it starts to get like, all the extra numbers, that's where I start to get confused.
But if it's simple like this, you can knock it out. That's what you tell them.
Yeah.
Well, we'll practice another, because, I did most of the work today, but if I'm working it and you miss one step, you see, then boom, that's it. So I'll put these notes up, Ashley, and you can look at it. And then in class tomorrow, we will work another one like this. Pretty much simple. We might have a little inventory left in finished goods this time. We may not sell them all. So we try to keep most of it the same, except we're not going to sell them all tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. So just work with it. It's not a little different, but when you're making that item and selling it works with that. But we'll try to get where we need to go. We need to get there because guess what? On Thursday, guess what we have to do?
What's Thursday?
We have to sell 2 books on Thursday. So it's going to be good to get 1 book down so you can sell 1. Because, bookstores sell and shoe stores sell more than 1 book, right?
Yes.
We'll come up with a strategy. Okay, so the review test will be some of what we did today. So give everybody a chance to get some points. So it'll be some of what we did today. So we'll do this again tomorrow in sort of the simplest of situation to make sure we have a simple situation correct. So we'll have maybe ending finished goods inventory tomorrow. We won't sell them all, but a lot of it will be the same. Because if you can get this basic one down, then you can move on. But if you don't have a basic one down, then it's a lot more difficult. So I will go ahead and get this session put up tonight so you all can look at it. And then we will work on it again tomorrow in class. It'll be a similar example, and we'll probably do it the same way, where we have to work that. We'll work the first part. We may just do it the other way. We may just use what we will probably do is that, when I change the assumption around, we'll probably look at it that way. But I guess I got to change some other things, though. Yeah, so we'll look at it that way. But you all hang on in there. And like I say, if you work at it, you'll get where you need to go.
Did you see my email today?
No, hadn't seen it today.
No. All right.
Don't you think I was kind of tired after putting all that together?
Professor, you got me stressed out. That's all I gotta say. So I'm trying to. I'm sitting there writing Dominique today. She was like, "Calm down." I'm like, "No, no, no. This is the only class that has my stress out the roof." So that it's just an email about something on the first grade that was a group assignment, and I guess you just missed it because sometimes me and Summer rotate who turns something in. It's
Okay.
always only one person, but I think it was just something like that because Dominique checked it for me as well, and she was like, "Yeah, that was a group assignment, and it was, we all worked on it."
Okay, we'll look at that. But see, sometimes I'll see if well, that's why I sent it out. So if there's an error, we want you to get your points. So we want to.
Are you doing something? She mentioned that you might possibly be doing something where something along the lines of the missed points from the midterm, something that could not replace that, but help that if you needed to add some points to it if you didn't get all 40. Is that so?
Tell Miss Ashley what's going to happen on Friday.
Oh, okay, well then I already know that. I just wasn't sure if it was in place. She said that, but she told me, to ask you still. So, all right, I got it.
We're going to retest on Friday for anybody who don't have 30 points.
At 5:30.
At 5:30.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What'd you say, Rose?
Oh, I was saying I'm gonna need that too, the extra points.
Well, get this down, and then you'll have something similar to this on Friday. So it should not be any excuses. So we've done it today. We're going to go over it on tomorrow, on Wednesday if need be, and then you just have to be able to do it by Friday. Tyra, what you think of this example for? He's still there.
It's pretty good, sir. I thank you for being able to help others. I think they should be able to get it now.
So they should be able to work one like that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you heard Tyra say y'all should be able to work one like that. But just, you got to practice with it. But, Tyra, he was working on this on Saturday and everything. So you got to put some time in. You can't just come to class and listen and not put in that time outside of the class. But we're gonna work on it, gonna get it straight, get these points adjusted and up with, and we'll go from there. So you all have a good one. Rest of your evening.
Thank you.
On tomorrow. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Professor.
Bye.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, good night.